Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and this table full of stuff is 1 month's worth of subscription boxes that we've gotten.
June 2016 to be precise.
And so in this video we're going to do a big comparison of all the 4 boxes that we got this month, and hopefully let you guys know in which circumstances which blocks are the best option for you guys.
Right, and we're going to go in a lot of detail actually about the cost and the value. So, and even though we're in Canada, we know that a large part of our audience is from the US, and a lot of the pricing is easier to get from US sources, so we're going to start off from the US perspective for both pricing and for value. And from a Canadian perspective, the items are typically the same or more expensive when you take into account the exchange rate. So, also Canadian, shipping is going to be more expensive if we're going to price out individual items. So for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to ignore the higher cost of shipping, but that means we're going to undervalue the items a bit when we're looking at it from Canada. The exchange rate doesn't come into it since we're using pricing in US dollars as well as cost in US dollars. Other thing is that there are a lot of exclusive items, and in the past we've tried to do our unboxings and evaluations as quickly as possible to get the videos up. So we only had our own guesses for pricing some items, but now that we're dealing with, 3 out of the 4 boxes being from the US, the delay in shipping and the delay before we did this huge comparison actually buys us a bit more time to see how the exclusives are selling on eBay. So our general approach is to ignore the outliers, both high and low, include the price of shipping, because I know when I'm looking on eBay, I take shipping into consideration when I'm thinking about whether something's worth getting, and when in doubt, we make adjustments based on what we think would be a reasonable price. So, you know, sometimes there weren't enough numbers, or it was way too expensive to do it from Canadian perspective, so we just use the American estimates, which means our numbers, again, may look like not as good a deal in Canada. And when things are available at retail level on Amazon.com, we sort of debated whether to use the list price or the discounted price, and because Amazon is so widely available, we went with the discounted Amazon price. Okay, so that's our preamble. First up, appropriately enough, one-up box, and we've got here is the Booker DeWitt Funko. On Amazon.com it was $7.19, including shipping. In Canada, actually, it was $15.32 on Amazon.ca, which is actually a few bucks more, about $4 more, $11.82, the equivalent of $11.82 US. We have, there was one item that we did not get that was missing, was the Vault keychain, and it sold on eBay for, there were only 2 that sold, $6 and $6.78. So we'll estimate that as $6. The novelty key cover, now only 1 sold, and it sold for $6. But when we're looking at other novelty key covers, $7 actually seems more reasonable when you take into account just how exclusive this is, and especially since only 1 sold. So we're actually bumping that up to say our estimate is $7. This was an exclusive sticker, couldn't find it anywhere, so we're estimating $2. And this Jurassic Park Walking Dead mashup t-shirt, we're going to stick with a straight $16 estimate because if you look at typical sort of exclusive t-shirts like on Shirt Punch, it's $10 for the shirt, $6 to ship it, and we're just going to do $16 value across the board for all of them.
Yeah.
So that gives us a total here. Can you tell we're working from notes? $38.19. That's a total value. If you work with a cost of $16.92 for your first month, using the coupon AWESOME, AWESOME, it gets you $3 off. And I mean, if you're watching this later, that's a current coupon now that's available in July 2016. It doesn't take much to find another coupon when you're just starting out and trying it for the first time.
There's always a coupon, you can just Google that.
So when we first did these comparison videos on a smaller scale, we used to go with a premium of the value over the cost, and in that case, if we were using our same old numbers, we'd say this was 2.3 times the cost. So the amount of value you're getting is 2.3, but we found that the numbers were kind of funky in terms of being able to make a comparison. So another way that's more intuitively obvious is what you're doing is you're paying 44% of the actual value. So the value is $38.19, you're paying $16.92, and that's 44%, which is not bad.
So there we go, that's definitely a good deal.
And from a Canadian perspective, the value is maybe about $4 more because of the Funko, because it's harder to find. And the cost to Canada is $26.95, so it's actually significantly more. It's $10 more. So the premium value is only 1.6 times the cost instead of 2.3, I think I said. So you're paying 63%. So that actually hurts it a little bit when we're talking about coming to Canada with it. All right, so that's one up box. First up. Next up, we've got the SciFi Block. All right, so Independence Day, Resurgence, Jake Morrison Funko. That was $8.78 on Amazon.com, and the equivalent of $12.93 US dollars, or in Canadian dollars, at $16.76. The Jurassic Pops T-shirt, we're using an estimate of
$16.
$16, and for those of you who are curious, that's the equivalent of the exchange rates today of $20.74 Canadian. This was the coolest, actually. This was my favorite out of this box. Was the Aliens versus Colonial Marines Army Men. And this was really interesting because this actually came up a lot on eBay. And there's two different versions. We did not look at the 35-piece previews exclusive of the equivalent thing. We went with only the ones that were 10 pieces from the SciFi Block. And it actually sold for between $7.74 and $13.50. So we're going to go with the price of about $10. I think seems reasonable because that was actually the most common, sort of in the middle, the medium price. Battlestar Galactica exclusive. Unlike other comic books, it did not have a retail price on it, and so on eBay, it sold for between $6.65 and $12.53, and the one right smack dab in the middle was $8.09. So we took that as the estimate. Back to the Future coaster set. It was actually selling pretty consistently somewhere around $9. There was one outlier at $8 and one outlier at $15. So we're going with a value of $9 for that. And the art print of the DeLorean. eBay only one sold. It was $7.82 in the UK, and shipping was crazy expensive, so we didn't include it. So we're just going with a straight $8 estimate for that. One thing we should mention too, actually. So that's all the items in the box. All blocks that you pay for, you get a $10 credit to Shirt Punch. It can't be used for shipping, so basically you're getting a shirt for $6 instead of $10. But we did
$6 instead of
$16.
Sorry.
Sorry. All right. So we didn't include that in our estimates, which would have actually made it more competitive. And they also have some interesting packages every once in a while, so it's not just T-shirts. Sometimes they have a T-shirt with a Funko and other stuff.
And we also didn't include the Downey Unstoppables. I know those add a lot of value too, probably.
It's priceless.
Easily $30, I'd say, just for the Unstoppables alone. So.
All right. So excluding the Unstoppables, excluding the $10 credit Shirt Punch, what you've got is a value of $59.87 US. The cost is either $24.95 or $25.95, depending on whether you use what coupons available at the time. There's a save 25. SAVE 25 to get $5 off, or Early Bird 20 to get $4 off, and it'll depend on what's available when you're watching this video. So basically, you're paying a premium value of you're getting a premium value of 2.3 to 2.4 times the cost, which means you're paying about 42% of the value. So it's not bad. When you look at it from Canadian perspective, the value is a little bit higher because of the Funko Pop. And so we're looking at $64. The cost is actually the same as US, and this is where SciFi Block really comes ahead. So the premium in terms of the value is a little bit higher, and you're only paying about 40% of the value.
Yeah, so that just makes SciFi Block just that much better for people in Canada.
Right, right. All right, so that's SciFi Block. Now we move on to the ones that we actually bought this month. So this is the regular Loot Crate. And we've got a few things here, a few interesting things here. So the Terminator 2 metal print, it sold as much as $7.35 on eBay, but about $3 seems about the right price. Oh, and I should mention that when we say eBay, we're not talking about listings. We're only talking about ones that sold. So this is where somebody paid real money to get it sent to them.
Yeah, instead of just like pledging to pay that much money, because that doesn't always actually
because anybody can price it whatever they want. That doesn't mean that's the actual value, but when money actually changes hands, I think that's a pretty reasonable way to judge.
Yeah.
What do we got? The Loot Crate Dystopia pin, $5. It sold as much as I think $7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is still, I gotta say, this is still my favorite item from all the boxes. I mean, it's a little tiny thing. It's a key blank. but the idea of it is so cool because you can make it really sort of an everyday thing. Like it can be part of your life without actually being intrusive and without actually just being junk.
Yeah.
So this it sold for $7 to $10. I think you found it right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's interesting,
7 was a common price. It went as high as 10 for I think 1 or 2 listings maybe, but 7 seemed like one of the more common prices, even though it wasn't the highest price.
Okay, cool. And I've actually found this a company that makes key blanks, and they make custom stuff, but they sell it to people who actually cut keys for you. So I think even if we went as high as maybe like for something as exclusive as this and nice, because it's not just painted, right? It's actually engraved and it's a whole different shape. I mean, we're working with a $7 estimate. I think $10 is probably pretty reasonable if you wanted to get a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Follow-up Dorbs, and straight from the Bethesda store. That's $10.
Plus shipping, but we're not gonna include that.
And Matrix Puzzle.
And that was like $3 on eBay. It sold between $1 and $6, but most of them were selling for somewhere around $3.
Oh,
People didn't seem to really love this one.
$1, was that with shipping or without?
I'm pretty sure that was
That
not
would be
including
pretty cheap.
shipping.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think $3 is pretty reasonable as a cost for that. Okay. So then when we were T-shirt, the RoboCop T-shirt,
$16 as always.
all right, so what we've got is a total value of $43. In excuse me, in the U.S., you'd be paying for your first month. You'd be paying $16.95 if you're using the coupon. The current coupon that's working is SHARK, SHARK, to give you $3 off. So the premium of the value over cost it's 2.5 times the cost, or in other words, you're paying 39% of the value. You're paying for only 39% of what you're getting, which is pretty darn good, actually. In my mind, as long as it's 50% or less, I think I consider a good deal. Like when it's random stuff, it's not necessarily stuff you'd want, but it's kind of fun, and that's part of the joy of it, right?
Yeah. If you have to go through all the hassle of eBay, but you can make $1 or $2 off of potentially selling it on, that's when it reaches a point where it's probably a good deal.
Yeah. So for Canada, the value is the same, but the cost is $10 more. It's actually $26.95 even after the coupon, which again, for those who are keeping track, that's the equivalent of $34.40 Canadian. So the premium value, it was sticking strictly with US dollars, it's 1.6 times the cost, or again, you're paying 63% of the value, which it kills it a little bit.
Yeah, so it isn't as good a deal for Canada.
All right, and this is the premium box, and the reason why Loot Crate gets 2 boxes this month is because it's actually at a different price point. Nerd Block, the representative was SciFi Block.
Because they're all the same price.
Except for the juniors, yeah.
Except for the juniors, yeah.
But the Loot Crate, the Loot Gaming Crate was really interesting this month, and the reason why we picked it up was specifically for the Overwatch item.
And dang, did that pay itself back.
Yeah. All right, so there were there was one Overwatch item.
2 TF2 items.
2 TF2 items, that's right. So this is what makes this particular box interesting. It's an Overwatch Tracer Funko Pop exclusive. You can see the Loot Crate exclusive.
Yeah, and it's just a color scheme variant.
All right, so here's where it gets interesting. There was one that sold for as cheap as $13, and it was because it was a buy it now price.
Yeah, somebody was valuing it at only slightly higher than a normal Funko value.
Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Out of 17 others that were sold, the next lowest price was $40, and the highest price was
$75.
Yeah.
And so that's insane. The $75 price might include shipping, but even taking shipping into account, that means that one item by itself has the potential to be actually worth more than this entire block.
Yeah.
So
we're pricing this at the low end of the sort of larger clumping of the prices. So we're going to ignore 13 because somebody clearly, I think, undervalued it. And 42 seems to be sort of the bottom end of what you can expect.
Yeah, 42 seems like it would be an easy price that you could get, and that is including shipping.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
So at this point, we're not 100% sure, but we may or may not be selling that, and if we are, I think a good way to reinvest would be to buy another block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely comment if you have an opinion on that either way.
All right, so this was the Dota 2 gaming mat, which we figured out after.
I totally missed the Dota symbol in the corner on the camera. There were a couple of people who commented that was a complete giveaway, and I totally missed it.
So on eBay, this 5 sales. Bottom end was $4.34, top end was $15. The other 3 in the middle were pretty much all around $7. So we're pricing that. We're estimating that at $7.
Even though if I had to put a value on that, I'm gonna be honest. This came straight from beside my computer right before we filmed the video.
It's pretty good.
This is my mouse pad. I would give it a personal value of $10, having used it. It's a mouse pad. It's a big mouse pad, and I like it. It's 17 inches.
But for the pricing of our estimates, we're gonna give
It'll
it
be
7.
7. Yeah.
All right. So the Team Fortress Scout hat. So on eBay, it sold between, because it's an exclusive. eBay sold between $5.50 and $15, but most actually sold for $15. And when I first opened the box, I mean, when I was comparing it to other caps that I'd looked at for other properties, Fallout cap was $22, Overwatch cap was $25 to $30. So
and it is a nice hat too.
is.
It is undeniably a nice hat. I would not want to sell this for $15.
Yeah, so using our discretion, we're going to say this is, even though some sold cheaper, we're going to estimate the value of this at $15.
Because that seems a little low, even.
Yeah,
to
15
me.
I think it is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Street Fighter shirt, which again we're going to do at $16. The Team Fortress 2 art print, there was only one that sold that was by itself and not as part of a package where people were bundling stuff together, and that sold for $5.99. So that's what we're working with. And the Arena coin pin, again, only one sold by itself, and it sold for $4.99. So that's the estimate that we're going to work with, because I think that's actually pretty reasonable. So really, the standout is the Funko Pop, and because of that, the total value of this is $90.98.
And keep in mind, I actually feel like we undervalued some of the items in this one a little more than we could have otherwise, but this is just going off of the straight eBay value, what you could definitely get for it.
Yeah. Cost of this package to the US is $26.95 using coupon, again, SHARK for $3 off what would normally be $29.95. So the premium of the value over what you're paying it's 3.4 times, or you're paying basically 30% of the value.
Which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and in Canada, what saves this a little bit, even though these are both Loot Crate, right? The regular Loot Crate costs $10 more to ship to Canada. The Loot Gaming Crate costs only $5 more. So the cost to Canada for this is $31.45. And again, for those curious, it was $14.14 Canadian. But the premium is actually still 2.89 times the cost, so you're paying 35% of the value, which is still, like, that's one
so
third.
Good.
All right.
And considering there are so many items here which are just really, really good. Like the mouse pad is totally useful.
Yeah.
The hat, again, that's something that you could use. That could be your go-to hat. Shirt is the same as always, but just it was an incredibly solid block.
Okay, so to quickly summarize too, so if you're in the States, then the clear winner is Loot Gaming Crate. But coming pretty close are 1UP Box and the regular Loot Crate, and those are just way cheaper. So if you want to you want the best deal, Loot Gaming Crate is probably it. If you want to not spend a lot of money just to get your feet wet and try it out, then Loot Crate and 1UP Box are probably the best. Now the perspective changes when you're talking about Canada. Now in Canada, because the premium in terms of extra shipping to Canada is only $5, Loot Gaming Crate still wins.
But I think this is going to be a little bit of an outlier because the Tracer, there's not going to be every month a game as hyped as Overwatch, and there's not going to be an exclusive in every month.
Right.
But definitely this month, easy head over heels, Loot Gaming Crate winner.
But because of the cheap shipping, basically because the Nerd Block and SciFi Block cost the same shipping to Canada as it does US, a very, very close second is SciFi Block. So we've got our winners. Clearly, the biggest winner was Loot Gaming Crate.
And I feel like even on a month where the Tracer was not totally, the winner of the box, the ticket item, it's still a solid box overall. I'd still be happy if it was only the value of a regular Funko. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Come on.